If you're moving your body, doing yoga, and squeezing in stroller walks, but still feeling weirdly weak, this episode is your wake-up call. Because no one tells you this, but I will. Gentle movement alone won't rebuild the strength motherhood requires. And if you're tired of feeling like your core never came back or your body is somehow behind schedule, hang tight with me. You are about to understand why and what to do instead. So let's. Postpartum is hard. One second we feel like our bodies are miraculous, and the next we feel like we're a complete mess, out of touch with the strong, confident women we used to be. All while the fitness industry pressures us to bounce back as quickly as possible to a body that never looked like it was pregnant to begin with. That's why, whether we're 3 days postpartum or 3 years postpartum, we need the refreshing truth of gospel-focused fitness to give us energy for the physical challenges of motherhood, peace with our postpartum bodies, and kingdom-centered motivation to train for strength and stamina. So mama, whether you're sipping on cold coffee or folding 5-day-old laundry, I pray by listening every Monday, you become equipped, encouraged, and empowered for a strong motherhood, all for God's glory. This is the Strong After Birth podcast. Thanks for joining us. You feel like you've done everything right. You walk, you stretch, you move, and yet your body still feels weak. You pick up your kids and it feels like a struggle. You carry the groceries and it feels like it's harder than it needs to be. And yet your body still feels weak. This is not failure. That is feedback. Your body doesn't need more movement. It needs resistance. You carried a baby, you birthed a baby, and now you're carrying toddlers, car seats, groceries, but your muscles haven't been given the chance to catch up. Walking is amazing for your heart. Yoga is soothing for our nervous system. I will be one of the first people to tell you that I am a much more pleasant person after I have gone for a walk and spent time in the sun or done a slow Peloton yoga class. But neither one builds strength in the places that motherhood demands it. Your glutes, your core, your back, and your arms. And if you're thinking, shouldn't I just be stronger by now? I want you to know I've asked that question too. This is common. You are not broken. You are in a transition. Motherhood demands more strength of our bodies than we have likely ever had to give in the past. So there is nothing wrong with you. In fact, you're probably doing the best with what you've got. Maybe you choose yoga because it felt gentle. Maybe it felt safe. Maybe those weights felt intimidating after the doctor or OB said that you had a diastasis recti. Maybe the walks became a habit because they cleared your head. Pilates was a habit because it was labeled low impact, and that makes perfect sense. And honestly, those habits matter. They've likely helped you connect with your body and have helped support your recovery in a really nurturing way. But now, maybe you're sensing there's more, and maybe you're ready for strength. Not the hustle kind, the Orange Theory where you're running around with dumbbells, but the grounded kind where you feel strong, stable, and empowered rather than destroyed after a workout. But listen, doing more of the same won't unlock the strength you are craving. You are not doing it wrong, you just haven't had anyone guide you into the next phase, which is the rebuild mode of training. Listen, after birth, many women lose muscle mass and experience shifts in alignment, stability, and hormone function. I, for one, definitely experienced this and lost about 4 pounds of muscle, which is really significant for somebody who loves her muscle. And to truly recover, we need more than movement. We need muscle activation and loading. A 2016 study found in the Journal of Women's Health Physical Therapy found that women who incorporated progressive resistance training postpartum showed significant improvements in core strength, posture, and daily function compared to those who only did walking or yoga-based routines. So this is not just a theory. I'm not just a strength coach saying, hey, strength training is better for you. This is literally how our physiology works. Resistance training challenges our muscles enough to tell our body, let's rebuild, in a way that walking and yoga simply can't. Think of your muscles like a savings account. Pregnancy made some big withdrawals, right? the energy that was required to build the placenta, to grow a baby, to support life, and then the energy that was required to deliver that life into the world, regardless of what type of birth you had, and then the increased withdrawal of having to support that baby after it came into the world. Hello, breastfeeding, sleepless nights, always carrying a child. And so gentle movement checks your balance. But only strength actually deposits money back into your account. And here's the encouragement your heart might need too, from a biblical perspective. In Nehemiah 4:10, the people were rebuilding Jerusalem's wall. In the middle of the process, they got really disheartened and they said, there's so much rubble that we can't rebuild the wall. And yet, brick by brick, they did. Through opposition, through exhaustion, through fear, they kept building. Why? Because they had a goal. They had a purpose for the wall. They needed that building to be done, to feel secure, to feel stable, and to care for what was inside the wall. I think in the same way, postpartum strength is a holy rebuild. I think one rep, one muscle fiber, one breath at a time, we are called to rebuild our strength. I want you to just imagine this. Imagine you can carry your toddler without flinching. Imagine that you wouldn't feel exhausted every time they tugged on your shorts and said, Mama up, but if you would be able to just gladly pick them up knowing it didn't feel like a burden. Imagine your back no longer aching after long days of nursing and long days of caring for your kids or working. Imagine that your energy stays steady because your body finally supports you. You don't feel like you have a weak link in the chain anymore because it's not there. I remember feeling if I'd ever feel strong again. And I also remembering how sweet it felt to get back to training, to trust my body again, and to feel proud of the quiet work I was doing in just 20 to 25 minute increments. And that strength, it's possible for you too. We're not chasing our pre-baby body. If you've listened to any of the podcast episodes, which I highly recommend, you know that we are not about bouncing back. But we are about building back a new body, one that is stronger, wiser, and built for a season of challenging lifts. Motherhood is not easy. And I think at the same time, we have to bring ourselves back to this truth that God is not done with your body. He's not asking you to neglect your own health and steward your families. He's asking you to still restore your own health, to take that time to care for you and your strength. I want to give you some really clear action steps here to help. And by no means do I want to just get you back into doing mode and being busy. I want you to think of these a little bit more like just subtle mindset shifts that you can make even now as you think forward about what exercise looks like for you in this season. So step 1 is to think about lifting like a mom. I want you to reintroduce that resistance without the gym. And I want to give you permission to try it with some really, really simple strength building exercises. The first one is a glute bridge. Try lying on your back with your knees bent. You'll lift your hips up by tilting your pelvis and squeezing your glutes and then lowering down slowly. Yes, this can be a strength exercise. But what makes it a strength exercise as opposed to a Pilates-based move or a yoga-based move is that we make this progressive. So let's say you've already been doing glute bridges. Good on you, by the way. This means that we want to progress those glute bridges in a way that we are still challenged by maybe 10 to 12 reps. So if you get to 10 to 12 reps of your glute bridges and you still feel like you could keep going for another 10 to 12 reps, well then sister, it is time to progress that glute bridge. Maybe it's time to add a dumbbell or try a B stance glute bridge where one heel is slightly closer to your body than the other. The key to building strength is being in progression, is practicing the same simple basic moves, but making sure that you are reaching fatigue on each set and staying in those lower rep ranges. So what is challenged is not our cardio capacity, but our muscular fatigue and strength endurance. The second exercise I want to give you that I think most women shy away from is a push-up. And I think the reason why most women shy away from a push-up is because it feels really intimidating. And then they feel like if they're doing push-ups from their knees, that it's not a real push-up. Listen, I don't know who came up with that notion, but I just want to give them a big pat in the tush and say, go sit down in a corner. Because when you are doing push-ups from the ground, regardless of if you're at your knees, you're doing a real push-up. But here's a modification I want to give you if you haven't done push-ups in a long time and they feel perhaps a bit intimidating. Do your push-ups on the wall. Put your hands on the wall, your body angled back. You'll lower your chest to the wall and then push back up and away. In the same way, if that's super easy, then try to challenge yourself to do them from the kitchen counter or your couch. Find a place that is an easy place of improvement where you can see progress, you can do them consistently, and they're in that sweet spot between being challenging but doable. The third exercise I want to give you to build strength in a sustainable way is practicing a bird dog. The bird dog is one of my favorite core exercises for postpartum moms because it automatically helps to turn on our deep core in a position that allows us to feel it without downward pressure on our pelvic floor and teaches us to maintain the pelvic floor contraction and core tension while we are moving our arms and legs. To do the bird dog, you'll be on all fours, hands over shoulders and knees right over your toes, and you'll reach one arm forward and opposite leg back. I like to have my clients hold it at the top for 3 to 4 seconds to allow them to feel their core working and then bring it back down to the starting position. All of these exercises can help us to gently wake up our core, our sleepy glutes, and our upper body. As a bonus tip, take a picture of you doing this mid-rep so that you can look back sometime in the future and cheer yourself on for where you started. Step number 2 is to think about moving like you mean it. Focus on form. One of the biggest, perhaps, movement habits that I see when clients first start strength training is that they rush through reps because they have done cardio before, and as doing so, they tend to have pain with movements like squats or lunges. Maybe they feel their low back or their neck the next day, and that's exactly why we want to focus on our form instead of rushing through the reps. So slow down. Give yourself 3 to 5 seconds per rep. Check your spine while you are moving. Notice if your shoulders hunch forward, if your back becomes arched, and practice engaging your core gently with each repetition. There is no need to rush through strength. The goal is not to burn calories. The goal is to build muscle. And the more attentional focus you can give to your muscles working and moving well, the better they will function for the long run. Remember, form is your foundation. So record yourself while you're doing a squat. This is something that comes free to all of my clients in True Strength Builder. In fact, just before recording this, I was watching one of my friends who is looking to become a mom in the next couple of years and wants to start her strength training journey now so that she can be strong and built to birth. And I was just looking at her squat, and she was giving me some things that she was feeling, and we were working through how to have a more stable and strong squat. So check your form, take a video. She said even just recording herself was helpful to see things that she couldn't necessarily feel. So your reminder is this: don't just move, rebuild, and focus on form. In other words, move like you mean it. Step number 3, which I believe is the most important step, probably the most powerful step, and that is to repeat the win. Make it stick with tiny habits. This is exactly why True Strength Builder is 25 minutes 3 times a week. 25 minutes for somebody perhaps who used to be really, really active and train for an hour or an hour and a half at the gym, or maybe go to an hour and a half CrossFit class. This is why it seems a little like too little. But the reality is, for moms, particularly new moms, those 25 minutes build up and feel sustainable. Not only that, but True Strength Builder is designed to give you the most benefit in those 25 minutes that you absolutely can. Imagine the 25 minutes you probably spent scrolling on Instagram the other day. Imagine if that was spent exercising, how much better you'd feel about your confidence and your strength today. That's exactly why I want you to choose 2 to 3 days a week. Set maybe just a 10 to 15 minute timer. Do the 3 exercises that I gave you today. Do the moves, celebrate, and then be done with it and go your merry way. Remember, consistency rewires our brains, and every short session that you do tells your body, we are somebody who lifts regularly. We are someone who is strong. We are someone who is safe. We are someone who is healing. And if you're struggling to find the rhythm to get into that training, I just want to tell you that's normal too. Start where you are at, not where you wish you were. Many clients come into True Strength Builder so excited in the first couple weeks, and they get right off to 3 days a week. And then something happens around week 4 to 5 where they realize they have to dial it back to 2 days a week. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that to adjust to the season that you are in. And if you're still feeling unsure or stuck, let's talk. Totally free. Book a no-pressure discovery call with me. It's just 30 minutes. We'll talk through where you are. We'll map out your next best step, and we can make strength feel simple, safe, and progressive again. This is what I help moms do every day in the True Strength Builder program. Let's find your starting point together. Grab your spot by clicking the link in the show notes. You don't have to figure this out alone. Let's put a plan in place for you, one that meets you with compassion and gives you the traction that you need to feel strong again postpartum. You are not behind. You are rebuilding, mama. And the strength that you're craving, it's so much closer than you think. You're not weak, you're rising. One glute bridge at a time, one squat at a time, one breath at a time, one decision to begin again. And let's be clear, yoga and walking are beautiful. They calm your mind, they nurture your body, and honor your healing. But when you add strength to that foundation, that is when things begin to shift, like your energy, your strength, and your confidence. And that's when your body begins to feel like it belongs to you again. You've got this, mama. And if you love this episode, please take 30 minutes to leave a quick review. This helps more mamas find the strength and support they deserve, and it means the world to me. Until next time, friends, stay strong. All the love, Coach Laura.